So it's the answers that we got from Walsall FC's AGM that have kind of pushed me towards a position where I do really think that this is a club that looks broken to me. The first question that we asked was about the fact that the average attendances are down by 21% compared to last season, and that the club is only operating at 39% of stadium capacity, which if you're operating as a business or as a football club or as a community organisation is not viable going forward long term, is it? I don't think. Now, one of the points that the club tried to make was that they do open up a dialogue with fans, but to be honest, we see limited evidence of this. Certainly the questions at AGM, there is no chance for follow-up questions, there's no chance for an informal dialogue, maybe over coffee or tea there. The Trust has sent in countless letters to the football club asking for meetings or for dialogue. The football club were invited to the Walsall Till I Die launch because they'd committed resources to it, because that we saw this as a partnership with them. That would have been a great opportunity to show that they were engaged with the fans, and they didn't. Only one director came to the AGM. As ever, the chair, the majority shareholder, didn't attend, never does. Only 4 shareholders were actually present at the AGM. Also speaks volumes about how the shareholders interact with the football club. The answers are very one-directional, very much from the club telling shareholders what they thought of the world, really, not trying to enter into any kind of meaningful conversation. I guess one of the things that's probably hacked off a lot of people on Up the Saddlers in particular is the fact that they refer to that website as a fringe website, despite the fact that the usage statistics I've seen would show that it has twice as many hits in a month as the official Walsall FC site. And the club really is missing a trick by trying to control everything through its own web portal, but also by refusing to engage with those voices on those other sites. It's got a great space there, either in Walsall Mad, on Up the Saddlers, really to try to engage with supporters and try to understand why they're hacked off. And it doesn't do it, does it? Because I guess the people in charge of the football club don't get the web. And that's a shame, to be honest. Well, I don't think the club can have it both ways. I don't think they can say, on the one hand, these are fringe websites, that they're not going to engage with the Supporters Trust beyond the AGM, for instance, where they have to answer questions because they're put forward by shareholders. I think they can do that on the one hand, and then say that they're only going to, that they actually engage with individual supporters on an individual basis via emails and letters and phone calls. Responsible as that is, how is that any different from dealing with the fringe? Actually, all you're doing is dealing with individuals because they're easier to deal with than organisations or organised groups, and that's disappointing, really. Actually, if you're going to stop seeing a drain of people away from that football club, then the board have to make the first move. Talking about CRM systems is one thing, but actually that's only ever going to allow you to control the information that you've got at hand. It's not going to help in rebuilding human relationships. And I do take on board the fact that they were talking about playing for success and the community programme and what was going on there. But actually you had a great chance to begin to build bridges by just sending one person along to a 12 o'clock launch of a book that was going to take half an hour, that you committed 4 stories to. And the fact that they did nothing and didn't come along and didn't help celebrate that book speaks volumes, I think. As I was driving away from the ground at 3:05 on Saturday, despite the fact that I'd had the offer of a free ticket from Dave, I was kind of thinking about the club, thinking about my relationship with the club, and thinking about just how soured it had all become, really. I was thinking, really, that the football club have to make a move back towards the fans. They hold the power, they hold the strings here, and I think a lot of fans would move back towards them, and we would see more bums on seats if only they would hold their hands up and say, well, we've made a few mistakes, but we're willing to listen, we're willing to talk to you. Unless the board move back towards the fans and move back towards the community, whether they feel they're right or wrong is irrelevant in this actually, but if they don't move back towards that community, that club's going to stay broken, and will only ever become more broken, I think. And one of the things that I'm struggling to see is whether the club actually get the power of social media. We see more corporates now using things like Twitter for internal and external communication. We see a number of colleges, of corporates, businesses, schools having their own YouTube channels which respect different opinions, respect different points of view, try to engage with those different points of view. And I don't see any of that from the football club really, and it's a shame that they try to control everything through their own portal and try to push the view that only that point of view or views expressed there count. And I think they're in danger of missing out really. One of the things that Obama's campaign in the recent American elections, one of the key things there was his use of text, of Twitter, of LinkedIn, of YouTube, of blogs, his own social media site, myBarackObama.com, and the power of that to devolve influence and to devolve organisation and devolve engagement to other groups and to try to draw them into something bigger. So I kind of hope that the club kind of get the possibilities, really, the opportunities, before they push too many fans away, because that's how I kind of feel at the moment from talking to a few friends who do feel pushed away, that they don't feel valued, and that there isn't a partnership between the football club and its supporters.